Just one more bite, Sophia. Please, for me. My sister Amanda's voice dripped with fake concern as she pushed the plate closer. The entire family watched, their faces a mixture of worry and judgment, as I fought the nausea rising in my throat. I was once a healthy 140 pounds, but over the past 8 months, I dropped to a dangerous 98. Not because I was starving myself, as Amanda had convinced everyone, but because every time I ate, my body rejected it. She's doing it again, Amanda announced to our gathered family, recording with her phone. Refusing to eat. This is why we need to get her help. The irony was, she'd been the one insisting on cooking all my meals lately, claiming she was watching out for me. I forced myself to take a bite of the casserole she'd specially prepared for me. Almost immediately, the familiar cramping started. "I'm sorry," I mumbled, rushing to the bathroom. Behind me, I could hear Amanda's performative sigh. "See, every time she eats, she runs to throw up. Mom, Dad, we can't ignore this anymore." I hunched over the toilet, my body betraying me once again. Through the door, I heard my mother crying and my father discussing treatment centers. Amanda had staged this whole intervention perfectly. At 31, I built a successful life as a food critic for our city's largest newspaper. My sister, 3 years younger, had always lived in my shadow, her own culinary career never quite taking off. Now she'd moved back home after her restaurant failed, insisting on helping me through my eating disorder. The symptoms had started shortly after she returned. First, just mild discomfort after meals, then severe cramping, vomiting, and weight loss. Only when Amanda cooked for me, which was becoming increasingly frequent as she convinced our family I needed supervision. "We found these in her apartment," Amanda's voice carried through the door, and I could imagine her showing everyone the diet pills and laxatives she'd discovered during her weekly wellness checks. Pills I'd never seen before, that somehow kept appearing despite my protests. I cleaned myself up, checking my reflection in the mirror. The girl looking back was a stranger, hollow cheeks, dull eyes, protruding collarbones. How had I let this go so far? Later that night, my best friend and fellow food critic, Maya, called. "Soph, something's not right. You're the most passionate food lover I know. This doesn't make sense." "I know," I whispered, afraid Amanda might be listening. She'd moved into my guest room 2 weeks ago, claiming I needed round-the-clock supervision. "Maya, I think." "Don't eat anything else she gives you," Maya interrupted urgently. "I've sent samples of your last 3 meals to a lab friend of mine. The ones Amanda insisted on bringing to the restaurant during our reviews." My heart stopped. "What?" "The results come back tomorrow. Just be careful tonight. Lock your door." I sat on my bed, mind racing. All those meals Amanda had lovingly prepared. The way she insisted on brewing my coffee, preparing my snacks. How she convinced everyone I needed help while positioning herself as my caretaker. My phone buzzed with a text from my editor. "Hope you're getting help. Taking you off reviews until further notice. Health comes first." My career, my reputation, everything I built was crumbling, just as Amanda's star was rising. She'd started a food blog documenting my recovery journey, gaining thousands of followers. That night, I heard her in the kitchen, humming as she prepared my special breakfast for the next morning. For the first time, I activated the small camera Maya had insisted I install above my stove. Morning came with a pounding on my door. "Sophia, your breakfast is getting cold. Don't make me call Mom." "Coming," I called back, hitting stop on the camera recording. Amanda stood in the kitchen, a picture of sisterly concern in her designer apron, my bowl of oatmeal steaming on the table. "I made it just how you like it," she smiled, phone already recording. "Everyone's so worried about you, Soph. We just want you to get better." I sat down, staring at the bowl, my hand trembling as I picked up the spoon. Behind me, Amanda's phone captured every moment, probably for her next blog post about her anorexic sister's struggles. My phone buzzed. A text from Maya. "Don't eat anything. Lab results in. Meeting in 20 minutes. Bring the breakfast." "Something wrong?" Amanda asked sweetly, noticing my hesitation. "You know you need to eat, Sophia, unless you want us to discuss inpatient treatment." I looked up at my sister, really looked at her, and saw something I'd been missing all these months. Behind her concern, behind her caring smile, there was something else. Something that made my blood run cold. Satisfaction. The next text from Maya would change everything. Police are on their way. We got her. The police arrived quietly, no sirens. 2 officers and a detective stood in my kitchen while a forensics team carefully collected the oatmeal Amanda had prepared. My sister's face remained composed, but I noticed her fingers twitching, a nervous habit from childhood. "This is ridiculous," Amanda laughed, though her voice trembled slightly. "I'm trying to help my sister recover from an eating disorder, and you're treating me like a criminal." Detective Lisa Chen studied the breakfast bowl. "Miss Walker, we have lab results from multiple food samples collected over the past 2 weeks. Would you like to explain the high levels of ipecac and other emetics found in them?" The color drained from Amanda's face. I don't know what you're talking about. Safia obviously added those things herself. She's been purging, we all know that." Maya stepped forward, laptop in hand. "I've documented everything. As a food critic, Sophia only got sick after eating meals prepared by Amanda. Never during our restaurant reviews unless Amanda brought her special packed meals." The kitchen camera footage played on Maya's laptop. It showed Amanda at 5 a.m. adding clear liquids from unmarked bottles to my oatmeal, methodically stirring them in. Her phone propped up, already recording, ready to capture my inevitable reaction. "You filmed me without permission?" Amanda's concerned sister act cracked, revealing something darker. "That's illegal. Not in a common area when there's suspected criminal activity," Detective Chen corrected. "Your sister had every right to protect herself." The evidence was damning. Maya's lab contact had found not just ipecac, but various substances known to cause severe gastric distress, all carefully measured to cause maximum illness without being lethal, at least not quickly. "We've also reviewed your blog posts," an officer added, scrolling through his tablet. "Detailed documentation of your sister's decline, building your reputation as a devoted caregiver while simultaneously destroying hers. Quite the performance." Amanda's mask finally shattered. "Performance? You want to talk about performance? She's been performing her whole life. The perfect daughter, the amazing food critic, while I worked my ass off in actual kitchens. So you decided to poison me?" My voice was barely a whisper. "Your own sister." "Poison is a strong word," she sneered. "I was helping you see how it feels to fail. How it feels when your body betrays you, when no one believes in your passion anymore. I just wanted you to know what it's like to lose everything." The officers moved forward with handcuffs as Amanda's confession echoed through the kitchen. The same kitchen where she filmed countless videos of herself helping her sick sister, building her social media empire on my deteriorating health. My parents arrived as Amanda was being led away. Mom collapsed into a chair while Dad stood frozen, watching his youngest daughter in handcuffs. "The signs were there," he muttered. "All those times she insisted on cooking, how she always volunteered to care for Sophia. She used our trust," Mom sobbed. "We believed her because she seemed so concerned, so devoted. We almost sent Sophia away because of her lies." Detective Chen gathered evidence while explaining the charges: attempted poisoning, premeditated harm, fraud for the monetized blog posts profiting from my illness. The investigation revealed Amanda had been planning this for months, ever since her restaurant failed while my career soared. Maya hugged me as the police finished their work. "I knew something was wrong when you couldn't handle spices anymore. You used to eat ghost peppers for fun. The real you would never lose your passion for food." The doctors later confirmed I'd been systematically poisoned with a combination of substances designed to cause gradual weight loss and constant illness. Amanda had researched everything, calculating doses that would make me sick enough to be believable but not enough to raise immediate medical suspicion. As I watched the police car drive away with my sister, I noticed her blog was still open on her phone, left on the counter. The draft of her latest post read, "Heartbreaking decision today. We're discussing inpatient treatment for my beloved sister. Sometimes love means making tough choices." Maya squeezed my hand. "She's the one who'll be an inpatient now, just not the kind she planned." The investigating officers found a journal hidden in Amanda's room, detailing her entire scheme. How she'd study my review schedule, prepare contaminated meals for days I was supposed to evaluate restaurants. How she planted diet pills in my apartment, slowly convincing our family and her followers that I was spiraling into an eating disorder. But she'd made one crucial mistake. She'd gotten too confident, too sloppy with her measurements. The last batch of samples contained enough evidence to prove deliberate tampering. Her perfectly crafted story of a concerned sister helping with an eating disorder had become her own undoing. Looking at my kitchen, now filled with evidence markers and police photographs, I realized how close I'd come to losing everything: my health, my career, my credibility. All because my sister couldn't handle my success. But this wasn't the end of the story. Amanda's arrest was just the beginning, and what happened next would shock even the detectives who'd seen it all. 3 months after Amanda's arrest, I sat in a courtroom, watching my sister's carefully constructed facade finally crumble. The evidence was overwhelming. Her journal, the lab results, hundreds of hours of video footage showing her methodically poisoning my food while building her social media presence as my savior. But the biggest surprise came from her former restaurant employees. One by one, they testified about customers who had mysteriously gotten sick after leaving negative reviews. Amanda had apparently been practicing her techniques long before targeting me. The defendant showed a pattern of calculated revenge, the prosecutor stated, presenting screenshots from Amanda's phone. She researched untraceable poisons, studied symptoms of eating disorders, and meticulously planned her sister's decline, all while profiting from the story through her blog and social media. Amanda's blog had reached 500,000 followers, all invested in the story of the devoted sister helping her anorexic sibling. She earned thousands through sponsorships, speaking engagements, and a planned book deal about supporting loved ones through eating disorders. The irony wasn't lost on anyone when the prison psychiatrist diagnosed her with Munchausen syndrome by proxy, a mental disorder where caregivers intentionally make others sick for attention and control. I'd returned to food criticism, my first review after recovery becoming the most read piece in our paper's history. Finding flavor again. A critic's return from the edge detailed not just the restaurant's cuisine, but my journey back to trusting food. Ms. Walker, the judge addressed me during victim impact statements. Would you like to speak? Standing at the podium, I faced my sister for the first time since her arrest. She'd lost weight in jail, her designer clothes replaced by an orange jumpsuit, but her eyes still held that familiar gleam of superiority. My sister didn't just poison my food, I began. She poisoned my relationships, my career, my love for the one thing that defined me. She turned our parents into unwitting accomplices, my friends into concerned observers, and thousands of followers into witnesses to my orchestrated decline. The courtroom fell silent as I continued. But she failed, because while she was trying to destroy me, she forgot one thing. Passion isn't just about success. It's about resilience. Every bite she poisoned made my comeback story stronger. My recovery had inspired a new column, Trust Your Plate, focusing on food safety and authenticity in restaurants. I partnered with Maya to create a foundation helping restaurant workers recognize and report suspicious incidents of food tampering. The judge sentenced Amanda to 15 years in prison plus mandatory psychiatric treatment. But the real punishment was watching her carefully crafted online identity implode. Her followers, horrified by the truth, transformed her hashtag Saving Sophia into hashtag Surviving Sibling Abuse. Our parents struggled with guilt, but they become advocates for families of poisoning victims. Mom joined support groups, helping others recognize signs they might have missed. Dad used his business connections to fund research into detecting food contamination. The hardest part, I told the reporters outside the courthouse, wasn't the physical sickness. It was doubting myself, wondering if everyone was right about me being mentally ill. That's the true poison, making someone question their own reality. My story went viral, but not in the way Amanda had planned. Instead of being a cautionary tale about eating disorders, it became a warning about hidden abuse and the dark side of social media performative care. Mental health professionals used our case to teach about the intersection of digital influence and systematic abuse. 6 months after the trial, I published my first book, Tasting Life Again, a food critic's journey through betrayal and recovery. It wasn't just about Amanda's poisoning. It was about rediscovering trust, passion, and the pure joy of eating without fear. The last chapter included a letter I'd written to Amanda but never sent. You tried to take away my voice by taking away my ability to eat. But you gave me a louder voice, a stronger platform, and a more important message than food reviews could ever provide. My latest restaurant review included a new feature, testing meals for common contaminants. It wasn't just about taste anymore. It was about trust, safety, and the sacred relationship between those who prepare food and those who eat it. Amanda's planned book deal transformed into my documentary series, Hidden Ingredients, exposing cases of food tampering and helping viewers recognize signs of systematic poisoning. Each episode ended with a shared meal, celebrating the healing power of untainted food. The security footage from my kitchen now trains medical professionals to spot signs of intentional poisoning. Amanda's methodical preparation of my special meals serves as a warning about how abuse can wear a mask of caring. Today, I still write food reviews, but with a deeper appreciation for every safe, clean bite. My sister tried to destroy my relationship with food. Instead, she gave me a more meaningful connection with it and a platform to help others trust their plates and their instincts again. The last time I visited Amanda in prison, she asked if I'd ever forgive her. I simply smiled and said, I already have, but I'll never forget, and neither will anyone else who reads my reviews, watches my show, or hears my story. You tried to be famous for saving me. Instead, you made me famous for saving myself.